focus on that do now. $25 seconds. Time. Scholars, pencils in the groove, eyes tracking me. I already have the can, I love it. Jazz is there, perfect posture, Usman. We look ready to go, scholars. I feel like we're on our way to a 5 dream block day to finish out the week strong. Taking a look at number 2. Complete a story below about a dog named Jackson who was feeling anguish about a fault of his. Now I'm going to look for 2 things. I'm looking for one scholar to share their story and a second scholar to help us explain why Jackson's anguished and what his fault is. First scholar is only going to share the story, then I'll be ready to call on a second scholar. One scholar looking to share their story with all these enthusiastic hands. Quick turn, take 10 seconds, tell your partner. Back together in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, window column. I have perfect discipline. One, share out a story about a dog named Jackson with anguish. Start us off, please. Dante. Tracking, Dante.
One day, Jackson realized he just couldn't take it. He had to give Mr. Fraser a present to appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Fraser opened the present and it was $2,000.
Now, I'm going to challenge you, Dante, because I'm not entirely sure you met all the expectations for that question. I'm not entirely sure you met all the expectations for that question, okay? Dante, pencil if you're tracking me just for a moment. The question asked specifically for a dog that was feeling anguish. What do we know anguish means? What do we know anguish means? I'm looking for a scholar to help Dante out. Hands down. Hands down. Remember, if you're speaking when I'm speaking, please stop. Ian, what does anguish mean? Right, Dante. So I'm going to come right back to you. If anguish means shameful, you're feeling bad about something, I'm going to ask for a second example, and then I'm going to come right back to you, Dante, and you're going to help us decode this word a little bit further. Track Julian. Hold on, Julian. Right now we need 2 scholars to fix that posture. Fix it, Giannis. Go ahead, Julian.
One day, Jackson realized he couldn't take it anymore. So he ran away. No. So he messed up. So he messed up.
Okay. Now, Dante, coming back to you. Why was Jackson feeling anguished? What was he feeling bad about? About messing up my apartment. Now, what was his fault? What was wrong with him, Messiah? His fault. So he's feeling bad about messing Mr. Frager's apartment up. What was his fault? We said why he was feeling anguish, so what was the fault? The thing that was wrong with him. His fault specifically, Messiah? Not sure. I'm going to come right back to you. Help him out, Xavier G.
His fault was that he crashed
Right. Messiah, his fault? In this case, what he was English about and his fault were the same thing. Tracking our example, today's vocab word is pensive. It's a difficult word to say, pensive. Track the definition, not the definition, the example, like Ibrahim reads it to us. I'm going to ask you to stop right now because there are 2 scholars in the wall column who are making a little bit of extra noise. And I know that you don't deserve that disrespect. So we're going to try it again. I need those 2 scholars to make sure they're seated up nice and tall. Pull those chairs in all the way. Thank you for fixing it right away. Ibrahim, go ahead. Pensive.
Pensive. She owed
Thank you. Now, we're going to vote on our hands if we think this word is positive, neutral, or negative. If we think it has a positive connotation, a neutral connotation, or a negative connotation. Go ahead and vote. Positive, negative. Pensive. Priscilla was always very pensive in reading class. She was always deep in her mind, thinking about interesting ideas and concepts to ask Mr. DeRosa after school. I'm seeing about 33% positive, I'd say about 50% positive, about 30% neutral, and about 20% negative. Since positive had the most votes, one scholar who chose positive, I would love for you to share out why you chose positive with our class. Go ahead, Usman. Tracking Usman. Make sure all eyes are on him.
So it's positive because she was thinking of the things to tell the teacher. She could have done something negative to the teacher after school, like chopping up his house or something like that. But she decided to just talk to him about why something happened.
Another scholar who maybe chose negative or neutral want to explain why they think this word is either negative or neutral. Track Jared.
So I chose neutral because, sometimes in pensive, pensive,
Go ahead, Jared.
in both positive and sometimes, most people, well, not most people, but some people that I know will probably think about pensive in a negative way because, pensive, it seems neutral. From the example, it says, she's thinking about ideas to ask for some work, but then also negative, she's thinking about, because this can be negative, she's gonna ask me why she got sent out or something.
I can see how you're bringing it back to that idea of being neutral because you're looking at it from both a positive perspective and a negative perspective. The word is indeed neutral for that reason. You can have pensive thoughts, you can be pensive in a positive way, and in a negative way. Now when we take a look at question number 3, which of the following is most likely the definition of pensive, we're going to clap this answer out. A, B, and C. Get those hands ready. You can warm them up a little bit. 2 hands, shoulder length apart. Clap once for answer choice A, answer choice B, answer choice C. We're in consensus. The answer is indeed C. Flip over to page number 2. 2 minutes on the clock. We're working through number 1, number 2, and number 3. Listen, you have 30 seconds at your desk. I need you to take out the materials that we're working on in class and nothing else. The rest of those things go underneath your chair. finishing in 40 seconds. Scholars, let's take a look at answer choice number 1. Now we're looking for a synonym for the word pensive, a word that means the same thing. Does pensive mean thoughtful, impulsive, ignorant, or uncaring? We'll clap our answer out. Clap once for answer choice A, answer choice B, answer choice C, answer choice D. Answer choice A received the most sound, and it's indeed correct. Now track me just for about 30 seconds while I give us some clarifying details on the word pensive. New Jersey. Savory, New Jersey. Pensive doesn't just mean to be thoughtful. It's a deduction now because you're speaking when I'm speaking. Please don't speak when I'm speaking. Pensive doesn't just mean to be thoughtful or to be thinking about something. It's a really deep thought. Now, the best example I can think of of pensive is when I think about one of my friends. One of my friends, he's really, really smart. He's probably the smartest in the group of all of my friends from high school. And he's really, really, really smart, but he's not, he doesn't have a lot of street smart. He's really like book smart. And sometimes he can get really, really caught up in what he's working on. So he might be reading a book. You can be talking to him. You can be saying his name. You could be waving your hand in front of his face. He's so locked into his book, he doesn't know what's going on around him. Sometimes he's thinking about a math problem because he's a math guy. He's an engineer. He likes to build things. When he's a math guy, sometimes he'll be working on a problem or trying to figure something out, and he'll just have this look. He'll be locked in completely. You won't be able to get him out of the spell the math is put on. He's in a really pensive mood. He's in deep thought. He's completely engaged and completely involved in his thought. So it's not just that he's thinking about a subject, it's that he's in a really, really deep, really engaged, really complicated thought. Scholars, at this point, I need you to do the following things. First thing we're going to do is turn our packets all the way to the last page. On the last page, you're going to meet me with your left hand on your packet and your right hand on your homework. Get there in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're ripping on 2, 1, 2. Rip your homework, file it in your homework folder. If you don't have your homework folder, just keep it on your desk for the rest of the period. You're not moving the seat right now. Next order of business. Meet me with your left hand on your packet and your right hand holding page 9 and page 10. It's Reflections on the Outsiders, Day 2. Usman's already there, ready to go. I have 2 scholars making noise. You know what the consequences are for making noise. Please stop. I've got Ibrahim. I've got Kyle. I've got Magnet. Ripping on 2, 1, 2. Put this flat on your desk. Slide the rest of the packet into the top right corner. We're going to go back to the rest of the packet, but it's important that we spend enough time with our novel today, and we're going to first start working with our novel. Please open up your